All the time we spent, wonder where it went. Why must time move on? Why must we grow apart?
Trepidatious, interesting. Speaking of trepidatious and interesting, welcome to the show, Final Picture Show podcast. We are here tonight to talk about Last Night. No, not the day before, but the movie Last Night. No, not the one from 1999, and also not the one from 2009. And also, there's a lot of movies where Last Night is featured in the title. This is maybe not the best name, because this movie is difficult to find.
And we're also talking about Last Night, not talking about Last Night, which is a different... oh, God.
The Rob Lowe movie, right? Is that he?
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that one, yeah.
It's been
God. Yeah. This movie is difficult to find, because originally it was like, oh, it's on Pluto. It's not on Pluto.
It's not on Pluto.
That's a different movie.
That was the 2009 one.
Yes,
it was on Pluto.
It might be a great movie. I don't know, but according to the internet, this movie and that movie are the same movie, and it's like, no, they are completely different movies.
They are not. I don't want to. I'm not really that interested in the marital drama with Keira Knightley and whoever else.
Yeah, right. And so then you're like, okay, well, where can you find it at? Well, your options are either YouTube or purchasing it. And to buy it, you're looking at minimum of about $35 to $60. That's apparently
YouTube
down. It used to be higher. So yes, YouTube it is indeed. And so I will have a link to the video where you can watch it on YouTube. It's been up for, I think, 9 years, and no one's taken it down. So I'm guessing whoever owns the rights is fine with this. I can see why this would be difficult to release now because of all the licensed music that's all over this movie.
That's a good point, yeah.
Because this movie has an amazing soundtrack, first off.
It does.
It has a killer soundtrack. It's very, I want to say, there's a couple Tarantino references in this movie for sure. But the soundtrack is definitely like very Tarantino-esque in terms of it's very eclectic. And it's like all like 70s pop staples. But that was a very eclectic decade. So you have like all kinds of things in there. And a little bit of like 60s folk thrown in there at the end as well.
I was going to say any movie with Guantanamera is good to me.
Yes, that featured prominently, as we will get to.
Yep.
Pete Seeger, both in name and in picture and in conversation and in song.
My only notes were, could I get more talk about Pete Seeger, please?
Yeah, I didn't know he was a socialist. How? How did you not know that? Like, dude made it, not as clear as Woody, but okay.
No.
Conversation for a different day.
But a conversation I would like.
A conversation we would like to have. Yes, indeed. This is a tremendously underrated movie from 1998 that is very Canadian. Not the first Canadian post-apocalyptic movie or pre-apocalyptic movie that we have talked about. That would be Neon City. That was the first one that we crossed that threshold with when we bridged into the old Canada. This will be the first time that we are invited in full arms wide open. That's a different group. But we coming in hot and heavy into Canada here. Hopefully they allow us in. Last time we were visiting New Zealand and Australia. And today we will be headed to the Great North.
Yep.
And I didn't even intend to do this because the original behind the scenes, the original movies that I chose to do for this were like all 90s sci-fi staples, 12 Monkeys, shit like that.
Yep.
And then I sent that list to you, and Doom Runners was the only one that I ended up keeping. And everything else I was like, I decided to change them all.
And I'm glad that you kept that one because I'd already watched it by the time you sent the new list. And I was like, I really want to talk about it.
Yeah, right. But I accidentally, every single movie that we're talking about in this list is a foreign film.
Awesome. Oh, it is.
I didn't even mean for that to happen. That's just a complete accident. Yeah. Every single movie that we're talking about this month are all foreign movies. So,
and there's a whole thing about tariffs on foreign movies right now. Is this going to be tariffed? Are we going to have to pay?
We're going to have to pay a tariff? Yeah. Tariff opinion for your thoughts. So, yeah, this is very, very, very Canadian. And we will talk about it because this is one of those movies that I think if it was re-released now in some kind of like boutique DVD or something like that, I think a lot of people would gobble this up because this is a really, really good movie.
Oh, yeah. This is almost like pre-Mumblecore.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, this is like 90s indie to the core.
Oh,
if you love 90s indie movies like Clerks, like anything like that. Where Slacker. I was going to say anything with Richard Linklater.
Yeah.
Anything where a prominent part of the movie is two people having a conversation.
Oh, give it to me.
You will love this kind of movie, and this is what we're getting into tonight. So a very different kind of movie that we've talked about. And pretty much every other movie we've talked about has been very like sci-fi oriented. The closest thing I think I would compare this to is Where the Wind Blows, because that one it has a science fiction-y element to it, but it's presented more matter-of-factly as like this couple surviving after the bombs are dropped and the world is ending.
Air quotes on surviving,
yes, trying their best.
They do what they're told.
Yeah. So tonight, let's get into the writer, director, and lead actor. It's one of those movies. I should tell you right there, right away. Either Vincent Gallo, Quentin Tarantino, Richard Linklater, Kevin Smith. The list goes on and on of 90s men who wrote, acted, and directed. And here's another one. This guy, tremendously underrated, and I have seen him in other things, and you have as well.
Yes.
This is Don McKellar.
Yes.
And he is the director, he is the writer, and he is the lead actor of this film, playing Patrick in this film.
Yes.
And here's a little bit about his other movies he's been in. Most of these, you'll notice, have a trend. A couple of them do, at least. Because he is a frequent collaborator of David Cronenberg, another Canadian.
I can't wait to get into that.
Yeah. And Cronenberg is in this movie as an actor.
I clocked him immediately, and I was like, did he... I was like, I once I saw Cronenberg, I was like, oh, what kind of movie is this about to be? You know,
it does take a turn. It does take a little bit of a turn. Not quite body horror, but it definitely gets horrific at parts that you weren't expecting.
It does.
Other movies he's been in are Where the Truth Lies, Child Star. He was in 2 episodes of Degrassi: The Next Generation, where he played Keith. That's probably for no one alone. I have a fascination with Degrassi: The Next Generation.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite TV shows because it is so cringy and awful and stupid and dumb. And God, do I love it. And it makes me so happy.
Oh, yeah.
He was also in another big Canadian movie, Red Violin and Highway 61. And then another time that we'll talk about him in the future is in the movie Blindness, where the entire world goes blind. Which is another kind of like post-apocalyptic type movie. He was also the writer and actor in that movie, not a director. But he did write Blindness, which is another, like I said, kind of post-apocalyptic swing at this kind of different take on the whole post-apocalypse. So that's the first...
I was going to say, the movie that I don't know if I remember him in it, but what was that, Existence or whatever?
Yeah, he's in that.
Yeah, and that was the thing that made me think like that's the movie I thought of whenever I saw David Cronenberg. I was like, okay, what are we about to see?
Yeah.
He is in that, like I
bones. He is in quite a few David Cronenberg movies as well. The list goes on and on. Speaking of in a lot of credits, Sandra here is played by Sandra Oh. This part was written for her. In fact, all of the parts in this movie were written for the people with them in mind.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this was one of those movies where he kind of cast a lot of the people he was friendly with or friends with.
Yes.
And that's kind of how it did his thing. So she would also show up in a couple of his other movies. She was in Blindness as well.
Mm-hmm.
But in addition to that, her biggest role is Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my wife knows her from. Whenever we were watching this today, my wife was like, Grey's Anatomy, and I was like, yeah, right. She's also in Sideways, Defender.
I was going to say Sideways is probably what I remember her from.
I remember her from, a lot of things. Hard Candy, one where she plays the neighbor that shows up at the end. She was all over Arliss back in the day, which I used to watch Arliss a lot. Permanent Midnight, there's a Ben Stiller movie. She was in that. That was a good one. And then HBO movie that I used to see late night. I think it was HBO. It was HBO or Cinemax. Dancing at the Blue Iguana, where she plays a stripper, and it's a good movie. Yeah. I watched that movie a lot when I was far too young to be watching that movie, but I watched a lot of Dancing at the Blue Iguana, and and then
that's a great name.
Night Listener, that movie with Robin Williams, that's kind of underrated. She's in that too.
Oh,
yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff. She's tons and tons of things. Grey's Anatomy, like I said, is probably where
I
most
think
people
that's where
would know her from.
most people would know her. Yeah.
Next
I
up
never got
is
into it,
but
but
yeah. I watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy. My wife, it was one of those shows that before I got married, I had never watched it. It was never something that really occurred to me as being something to watch. I knew that it was a medical drama. Medical drama was not really my thing, so I never really gave it much thought.
I'm not much for these like police or medical procedurals. Like that's not really my thing. Like I didn't get into a lot of people like Law and Order. I've never watched an episode.
I love Law and Order. I love Law and Order. I love Law and Order. Yeah. See, I love true crime. I can get down on some true crime shit.
Yeah.
I'm not really into medical dramas, and I really don't care for like anything like medical investigation related, like or like CSI, anything like that. Those things are all like I'm done. I don't give a shit about any of that.
Yeah, no.
But like some real life true crime stuff, I could dig on that stuff. But it just depends. And anyway, so yeah, that was she was kind of in those things. Speaking of some other things, is Miss Wheeler here. Is played by Roberta Maxwell, and we've talked about her before. She was in The Postman.
Oh, okay.
She was also in a couple other big credits.
I totally
you remember
her now.
Yes, Philadelphia, Warehouse 13, Brokeback Mountain.
Okay.
Dead Man Walking. She was in Psycho 3, and she was in Popeye, going way back. Speaking of Robin Williams.
Yeah. Ooh.
Next up is Mr. Wheeler, who is played by Robin Gamel, and he was in Skyline and Sister Act 2, Contact, and Bullworth. Those were his big ones.
Okay.
Skyline, Monster Movie Fun Time Go just recently got done talking about how terrible that movie is. Doing God's work there.
I feel like I remember that movie, and I don't remember much about it.
Yeah. You're not missing much.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of those that like I just don't 100% remember what would happen.
Continuing on, Jennifer Wheeler, who is Patrick's sister, who becomes a character that's in the beginning and then shows up a little bit at the end. She's probably the most prominent person here as a writer. Yeah. She was a Oscar winner and a couple times through. Wrote a lot of things. She was also in Go. That's what I kind of most recognized her from before this.
God, there's a movie I want to watch again.
Go is a great movie, yeah.
I love that movie.
Recently won a bunch of awards for being the writer of Studio, that Seth Rogen Apple TV show, which is really good.
Oh, yeah.
She's a big writer on that.
Some things. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. She's great. She's great in that. And she's also apparently doing a lot of the writing behind the scenes of that as well. And then her big awards come from Women Talking and Away From Her. Those were both Oscar nominated and an Oscar winner for screenplay. So
okay,
yeah.
So yeah,
Duncan is Sandra Oh's husband, who we eventually find that out.
Yeah,
and Duncan is played by David Cronenberg, who we will talk about again eventually. So we're not going to dive too much into him as a director, which is what he's mostly known for. But he's also an actor and shows up in a bunch of movies, and this is one of them. And so David Cronenberg shows up here as Duncan, the gas man, who is kind of has like, at first you think he's going to be like the Stephen Wright of this movie, to borrow from Reservoir Dogs, as like just this voice that kind of is in like all the various scenes that ties the movie together. But we actually do meet him face to face, and we see what happens to him as the movie goes on. So it takes a different turn than you're expecting.
You know, David Cronenberg's in one of my favorite movies too, as an actor.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
He's the postal supervisor in The Stupids. Here's the credit for you. A link to my terrible taste in movies.
Well,
see, I'm telling you, eventually I'm gonna. No, I know. One of these days,
there goes our credibility.
Yeah, no, I was about to say. I'm telling you, one of these days, I will argue for The Stupids if ever I'm given a chance. So it's gonna happen.
The Stupids as art, visual essay. You heard it here.
I'll do it. That'll be my thesis. I'm doing it.
That'll be my thesis. To begin, fuck you.
And then they'll be like, this is a math class. Anyway.
Donna, who is here, is Tracy Wright, and it was being Me, You, and Everyone We Know, which is speaking of indie movies. That's another good one from the middle 2000s. And then she was in Superstar, that movie with based off of the SNL sketch.
Oh yeah,
and she would be in one episode of Kids in the Hall.
awesome.
And she is was actually married to the director of this movie, and she unfortunately has passed on. So
yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, some of this movie, one of the major themes of this movie is the main character's wife having passed on, and so it's kind of like one of those things where art has become reality a few years after this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of, I didn't think of that till now, and that's pretty tragic. And
it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, that puts some things in context. There's a lot of other people in this movie. Callum Keith Rene is in this movie.
mm-hmm.
Karen Glove. The list goes on and on and on. Unfortunately, like, there's a lot of people here, but they only show up in like most of them in brief little skits.
Yeah, very it's. It's kind of a like a Richard Linklater flick in that way, you know.
It very much is, which is, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, because this is one of the things that I was going to mention is like how I discovered this movie the first time, and then like completely didn't know what the fuck this movie was called for years until watching it again now. So that's our cast and our director and our writer. Helpful when they're all one person.
Yeah, right.
We'll see that happen again as we throughout the month of October. One more time, we'll see that happen when we get to the cast and the writer and director kind of all being one singular person. And then when we get to the month of November, I got big plans. I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna go into the art film world of the post-apocalypse and watch some weird shit. Some stuff that doesn't have some stuff that's plotless.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that has us written all over it.
I think it's going to be fun.
We're a couple of fancy, fancy film boys,
fancy film art boys. Yeah, esoteric little fuckers.
Yeah,
that's the name of our spinoff, Esoteric Little Fuckers. That's where we review kids' movies. It didn't go over well. I don't know why.
Oh, can I finally talk about the stupids on that one? Anyway,
God no.
It's gonna happen.
So, background of this movie, which is less stupid than that movie, is this movie cost about $2 million and it made $591,000. That's $2 million Canadian. So you do the conversion there.
Someone else do the conversion, please.
It was kind of made in response to a challenge. So this was Don McKellar's. That's his name, right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, Don McKellar. Yeah.
Okay, I was making sure. Sometimes I fuck up names and shit.
Well, because I mean, when you think about like when you're usually saying, not talking about an actor, that's McKell something. It's Ian McKellen.
I keep wanting to call him Don McLean, which is not his name.
So. Oh yeah,
that's my impulse fighting that one. So this movie was his first movie. And it has first movie vibes written all over it.
Oh, it does.
It does, and that's cool. I love a good first movie. I love a good first novel, because you can always kind of tell like when you're reading like someone's first novel. And I love the earnestness of that. And I think awesome.
Okay,
same thing with the movies.
It does connect to like Slacker and Clerks. It's because those were first movies.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. So this was made in response to kind of like a challenge to this Project 2000, which was a co-production between France and Germany to make movies about the coming millennium. And if you did so, they would kind of insert it into different film festivals and so on and so forth. So this movie actually went to Cannes and got nominated, like won Best Canadian Feature Film at the Toronto International Film Festival, won several awards at the Genie Awards, won a lot of awards, right? Even the cinematographer was nominated for some awards. Like it got nominated for a lot of awards. And in spite of that, it's damn near impossible to find. So yeah, it was made in response to the idea of making a movie about the year 2000. However, in the process of making the movie, they decided to switch it from like, hey, let's make it about the year 2000, and instead just making it about like the end of the world in completeness. That way it kind of wouldn't be so date stamped. Yeah. So other movies the other movie that came out in that same festival is a movie that we'll eventually talk about, which is The Book of Life, which was directed by Hal Hartley. Speaking of indie directors extraordinaire, there's one. I love Hal Hartley. And any director who puts Parker Posey in a movie has my blessing.
Yep.
And that's what I would do.
Oh, absolutely.
See, if I was a director, Parker Posey, Thomas Hayden Church, they would have jobs for life because they're like everything. I'm just like, somehow they keep ending up in these movies. I don't know what. You keep giving me this money, and I just keep giving it to the same people. So yeah, that is how this movie came to be, and not really a lot of like other background, really. So like the screenplay was kind of like inspired by his friends. So when he was writing it, he was talking to a lot of the people that ended up in the movie, and he was asking them like, what would you do if the premise of the movie was happening in reality? Like, there's
awesome.
12 hours left to live. What are you going to do?
That's a great question.
He asked a lot of his friends, and he took that inspiration and then he turned it into a screenplay, and that's what we're watching. And a lot of those friends are echoing what they kind of said they might do.
That's far out.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
At no point in the movie do we ever get a reason for what is happening to cause the end of the world. Although throughout the entire movie, it is daylight. So that gives you some kind of implication that something is going on with the planetary alignment. Yes. Orbital wobble, perhaps. Orbital wobble. That damned orbital wobble.
It was always going to be our undoing.
Yeah, right. So let's get into, just because, like I said, there's not much background. That's pretty much it. And then we'll get into the plot and Travis trivia here in just a second. But a few awards and a few reviews that this film got that I thought were interesting to note. Roger Ebert, your favorite, he gave it 3 stars, so that's not too bad.
Okay.
Peter Howell of the Toronto Star said that it was too damn Canadian for its own good.
That would have drawn me in just that alone.
I challenge that. There's not a single person in this film wearing all denim.
Yeah. I didn't see any red flannel or...
I didn't see any red flannel. No one said a boot. There was no maple syrup anywhere. Like,
no one's eating a beaver tail or poutine or...
Yeah, there was no poutine anywhere in this movie. How is it too Canadian for it's so damn good, Peter?
Yeah, really?
Speaking of being too Canadian, it was in 2002, so a few years after the movie came out, voted as the 9th best Canadian film of all time, which, as my wife and I agreed... I don't know if that means that there's just not been a lot of good Canadian movies, or if that means that this is just a really, really good movie. Turns out that it was a really, really good movie. You know, this is before we watched it.
Oh, I see. Well,
yeah. There you go. So that's it for the background. Let's get into Travis trivia.
Let's do it.
When this movie actually finally came out, not when it was in the festivals, but when it finally came out, was April 30th, 1999. Right before the coming of the millennium. Top 5 songs in the chart are the top 5 songs of the world in America on April 30th of 1999. Number 5 is a duo song between a rapper and Michael Jackson's sister.
Oh, God. In 99?
1999. I love this song. It's a good one.
Oh man, I might not know this one right away.
What's It Gonna Be by Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson.
Ooh, I might remember that.
It's a good song.
I'd have to hear it though.
Number 4 is a song by a band that at one point was a punk band called the Shrinky Dinks. And then eventually they sold out. The band, I used to actually have one of their CDs that I actually kind of thought was not too bad. Any guesses as to who the fuck I'm talking about as I ramble on?
I want to say, oh God, we've talked about the Shrinky Dinks before. I know we have, me and you.
Yeah,
and I think it's the same thing every time because my memory is... What were we talking about? Anyway, no. Oh God, it's not Sugar Ray, right?
It is in fact Sugar Ray. Yeah, Sugar Ray.
I still remember.
Every morning.
So Mark McGrath?
Mark McGrath, yep. That's him.
I never hear from him. What's he doing?
I don't know, all kinds of things apparently.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess good for him.
Yeah. Number 3 is a song that is kind of obnoxious if you hear it so many times. It was big in 1999.
Oh God,
I remember
that's so many songs.
it's one of those core 90s memories that's burned into my mind. I remember being at Stephen and Cody's house, my babysitter's kids, and watching MTV in their bedroom. And this song came on, and I remember being like, God, I recognize that name, but I've never heard her song before. I know my parents have talked about her before.
Mm-hmm.
She's got like all this green day glow on, and she's like, is this techno? Is this what techno is? And she's singing believing about life after love.
Yeah. You know what's funny?
Yeah.
I just listened to a cover of this song like before we got on here. I was listening to the Me First and the Gimme Gimmes cover of it.
I did not know they did a cover of that.
They did a cover of it, and it is great. It's on their 2014 album. Are we? What was it? Are We Not Men? Are We Our Diva?
Oh, that's cute. That's clever.
Yeah,
that's clever.
I love Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
Yeah. Share
no, that's not
and Believe is the song.
Yeah, I just listened. It's so funny that's
that it was the number 3 song in the country,
and it was the first song to use autotune that way.
Was it? I did not know
it was. That was the first time. I mean, autotune had been used in songs before, but it was used as a correction tool. This was the first time they like amped it up and made it actually part of the song.
A young Kanye West was thoroughly impressed.
So T-Pain owes a lot to Cher.
Yeah. Number 2 is a Christian. Well, I guess they're technically were Christians, but they kind of shrugged that title off later on. Yeah. They were a Christian indie rock kind of little song that was very, very popular. It was in Dawson's Creek, amongst many, many other things.
Oh, God. I was going to say Sixpence None the Richer, but I'm not sure now.
Yeah,
that is it. Okay.
Yeah. Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer.
Oh, God. Boy, I was going to say Dawson's Creek's not the one I think of. She's All That's the one I think of.
That one as well. Yeah. It goes. It was in a bunch of those movies. A bunch of those TV shows.
Oh, yeah. It was all over the place. It was everywhere. You couldn't turn around without hearing that song.
And the number 1 song is, it's funny that it finally happened. Every time we've talked about this group in the past, you've guessed this song, regardless of when in the 90s it was. But the group is TLC, and they finally want a man who is not a what?
Scrub.
There you go. It's No Scrubs by TLC. It was the number 1 song when this movie came out.
Well, I mean, a scrub is a guy that can't get, or a man that can't get no love from me. You know,
he also known as a busta. Also, these other songs that were in the charts around or interesting to talk about. I didn't bother to write down what number they were. I'm sorry, but My Own Worst Enemy by Lit was up there as well. Yeah,
saw them in concert back in '99.
Oh God, yeah, I can only imagine.
Well, it was this because I lived next to Austin, and they did this. One of the radio stations there did this like spring festival thing. It was like a 14 band 12-hour festival at South Park Meadows, which is not a venue anymore. I think it's a condo area or something, or a mall. It's really upsetting that it's like condos now, because it was one of the best concert venues I've ever seen. And like Blink-182 was there, Lit was there, Dovetail Joint for another one, Eve 6 was there, The Flies. I mean, it was a real, like, Stabbing Westward. It was a real who's who of, like, late 90s. I don't know what you call it. Alternative?
It was on the radio.
It was. And, like, Soul Coughing was there. Collective Soul was there. Soul
Coughing, interesting. Collective Soul
it was
and
really,
Soul Coughing got the whole soul combo.
It was, yeah.
Soul Asylum was there. Were they there?
They were not.
Oh, shit. Couldn't afford them.
No.
They were hanging out in Minnesota. Other songs that were popular, one of the top country songs was How Forever Feels by Kenny Chesney.
Fuck, I do not know that song.
Oh, God, dude. I've dated too many women in Texas to not have listened to that song. I know the lyrics to that song. I have it playing in my mind right now. I'm not going to embarrass myself or the audience by singing my rendition of How Forever Feels by Kenny Chesney, but I am adequately familiar with the Kenny Chesney's primary works.
Was there any Buck Cherry at the time, or
I didn't see any Buck Cherry, nor did I look for any.
Why would you? That's a me thing only.
That's a shame. It caught me off guard. One of the biggest songs across the sea was Swear It Again by Westlife. So there's a group that didn't really achieve as much success in America as it did overseas.
I don't
know.
know.
You're not familiar with Westlife? Oh, I'm familiar with Westlife.
I can cue it
You've
up.
probably heard a few Westlife songs and just didn't even realize it. And interesting thing, speaking of musicians, Mac DeMarco, who recently put an album out, he was born on this fucking day. April 30th, 1999 is apparently the man's birthday. So birthday gift for him, nowhere near where he was at the time, I believe. The only other thing to talk about is the Canadian charts, so they were almost identical to the American charts at the time, with some exceptions. And obviously, Canada, with the way the government works, kind of emphasizes their own country-made art, which is wonderful that they do that. It's probably one of the reasons why a lot of these artists are able to make the things that they're able to make. Speaking of Canadian artists, we had Bare Naked Ladies with It's All Been Done. That was in the Canadian charts. Yeah, that's a good one. I know you like that song. And Sky, which had a big song at the time called Love Song. And they would open for Britney Spears when she toured in Canada. And I believe they would break up shortly after this song got big. But Love Song by Sky was a huge song at the same time that this movie came out in Canada. The middle section of the show. Next week, we will continue our dual journey through both the 90s and through the rest of the world as we leave America and watch foreign films. And we're going to watch A Wind Named Amnesia, a animated movie about the end of the world, an anime, if you will, from Japan, a country and a genre that we have not talked about before.
No.
Yeah, it'll be our first anime. Not our first animated movie, but our first anime.
That's cool.
So see y'all next week for that. It starts with the gas company calling and promising that in spite of the world ending, we're going to keep the gas on until the very end.
Till the very end.
Which is a lie.
It ends up being a lie.
It ends up being a lie. They do not keep the gas on to the end.
If you can't trust the gas company, I mean, who do you have in this world?
Who do you have in this world? And we later find out Duncan, David Cronenberg, is the person that is saying this message. And so basically the premise of this movie is like the world is ending. And so we have these different sets of characters, and each of them is ending their lives in different ways. And this is kind of how the author, the director, the actor of the movie intended it to go, which is like a little bit of everyone's, how would you go? What would be the last thing that you'd want to do? And
they'd known about it for at least 2 months, right?
They've known about it for several months, yeah. Because he mentions, and later on this becomes a pivotal plot point, that his wife died right before the announcement, and he said that was about 3 months ago.
Oh, so, okay, that's right.
Yeah, so it's been about 3 months. Yeah, we'll get to that. That was one of those things in the movie where I was like, oh God, that's even, yeah. This movie is very, very emotionally wrenching at times, and
it is.
Right after that, which the movie opens on this like really interesting stage shot of this like downward facing view, almost like a picture of him just laying on the floor with like talking on the just basically ignoring phone calls, trying to think of a reason to not go visit his parents at the last last hours before the world ends.
That's crazy.
And then we cut to Sandra's character, and we get some really very, very, very Tarantino-esque shot where we start behind her as we listen to the Fifth Dimension say we didn't get any sleep at all last night. And she's going to the grocery store, or what's left of the grocery store, to get some stuff for her husband and her, because they are going to, well, the plan is they're going to meet up later on. And right before the world ends, they're going to shoot each other in the head and kill each other. Yeah.
Because they're not going to let the world take them out. They're going to take themselves out.
Speaking of which, if I didn't put a suicide warning at the beginning of this episode, suicide warning, that is a thing that becomes very prominent in this movie. Not a thing that happens, but a thing that is an issue in the movie. They do talk about it quite a bit.
They do talk about it.
Yeah, so the Fifth Dimension, and Sandra goes shopping, and as she's going shopping, these hooligans just tip her car over. And it's kind of just a dick move, which kind of sets in kind of the character in motion
Yes.
of like she can't get home now to go meet up with her husband Duncan. She has to find alternate transportation, and the bus lines are not working. No one's interested in picking people up and giving them a ride or anything like that. So
Nope.
she's kind of stuck walking, and eventually she kind of finds her way to Patrick. And in between that, Patrick goes to his family and makes kind of like an ass of himself.
Yeah, he does, because like they're all
Celebrating Christmas.
yeah. Which I mean, why not? You know,
That's what, like, before. So at the beginning of the movie, like, I was like, wait, is it Christmas time? And then before you really get to finish that thought, they reveal to you, no, it's not. They're just doing this because it's like, well, this is what always brought us happiness and together as a family. So we'll replicate that on the last day together, which is an interesting, an interesting thing to explore as a character.
Yeah, it
that
is.
These, like, this family is like forcing to like relive, because it's him and his sister's, I think, fiance. Is that what it is? Or boyfriend, girlfriend?
Yeah. I don't know, but
Something
Patrick
along
keeps
those
giving
lines.
him shit.
Patrick is giving him a lot of shit. He's kind of busting his balls about everything.
Yeah,
he's kind of an asshole, at least at the beginning of this movie.
He definitely
It's very
like,
misanthrope.
We're definitely. Oh yeah,
We
definitely
find out why
getting-
later.
Oh, we do find out why later, and it's
Yeah.
like there are. I feel like this is a kind of character trope, like the guy that's an asshole, but it's
He has
because
a reason
of tragic
for it.
reasons. Yeah,
Yeah. It's very John Cusack. If this was an American movie, this would be John Cusack.
I am all the way on board with that.
So they're basically replicating Christmas, and then intermixed we go back and forth to the gas company as we learn that there's only 2 people that showed up for work, and we only need one of them to actually keep the program running. And she becomes an important character later as she's doing a little online dating, as she's doing some day drinking / I guess night drinking, because it's at different points. It's like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, but it's still sunlight outside. So it's kind of like, they never explain why that is, but you're kind of led to be like, okay, well, whatever reason that is what's causing the end.
That's interesting. This is one of the few, if maybe, I don't know if there's many other movies that do that, where there is a prominently, end of the world scenario, but they don't explain it, describe it, anything. It's just,
I can think of
more...
some like bad Italian movies that do that, but they did it by accident.
Oh.
Where they just forgot to explain why the world ended. It's just like, oh, fuck it.
Oh,
we'll figure it out later. But this movie, it's very intentional, right? With its how
and
it kind of that.
I find it very interesting, and I actually really like that aspect of it. It's like, it's like you don't need to know. Here's what you need to know: how these people are coping and how they're, what they're doing with the last, like, if they, what would you do if you knew you were like about to go?
If you had hours to go,
and it was everyone,
everyone's dying in a few hours.
I mean,
that's kind of the premise of the movie seeks to explore, and I like it because like his parents are like, okay, well, we want to pray and we want to reenact Christmas with our kids, regardless of how old our kids are. We're gonna fucking force them to come and redo this, and I can imagine my mom doing that, being like, you need to come home, I'm like, well, I'm 800 miles away and I'm 40 years old. I don't really want to come home. Like, no, you need to come home. Like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of one of those things where, you can definitely see a lot of like the older people in the movie, and we will revisit these people. And how they're kind of coping with this is to kind of relive the past and get very nostalgic as they're watching family footage from the past celebrations.
This family has a lot of interesting like dynamics to it.
Yeah,
and they get to say some really interesting things, and God, I love that. I just love like character driven movies with really interesting dialogue. It's just like that grabs me. And
technically, is this a Christmas movie?
Ooh,
technically.
I mean, I'd be celebrating every holiday in one day.
Try your best, right? Yeah. So the dinner ends with him making his mother cry in front of everyone.
Oh, that is it's a beautifully awkward moment. Yes. Where she makes him lamb. It's his favorite, and he is, and she's like, I don't know if is she outright saying or is she hinting that he should stay with them?
Yeah, she
And
really
he's like,
wants him to. She's outright hinting that like
yeah,
it would mean a lot to her if the end of the day he would come back home around midnight and
yeah,
die with them.
yeah.
And he is
like,
basically telling her flat out, "I'm not doing that,
no,
and you need
like,
to accept that. I don't care how painful it is for you to accept it. You need to accept it. Like I am my own human, and I am not doing that."
Yep.
And it's very hard for her to accept it, and she breaks down almost like a toddler would. Where she's like almost like treats him like a plaything. Like, well, you're mine, and he's just like, no, I'm an autonomous human now. I can see a lot of the connections.
Oh yeah, no, the way she breaks down is also like it's almost weak, like, and I get it because I mean, how could you possibly have that much energy to grieve anymore at this point?
True. And they kind of highly imply that like a lot of what they're doing with this fake Christmas is like to pacify their mother and her kind of feelings about what's happening at the end times. Yeah. So we cut to the last of our kind of main core characters, Craig, who is the one who decides to end the world by trying to have with a bang, by trying to have as much and as all different kinds of sex as a human being can have.
It's so, I mean, I this is gonna suck to say out loud. I respect this so much.
His little like shrine that he presents at the end is a little weird. Where he's got kind of like the writings on the wall and like the pictures and everything. It's like, okay,
like it's only okay because it's the last day of Earth, and I'm like, or he's been doing this for 2 months, and
a couple months
it's
now.
It's only like, endearing is not the word. I'm not exactly sure what the word is, but it's only this.
It's a word.
It's like passable, maybe is the word I'm going for. Like I could give it a pass, but it's only that because it's just, what else are you gonna do?
True. And you could totally see Craig like being in a Kevin Smith movie. Like he's like straight out of like a Kevin Smith movie, and how he's written absolutely. And how he presents himself. It's not necessarily saying that he like rips Kevin Smith off or even was inspired by Clerks or anything of the sort, because I don't know if he was or not. This movie's not in black and white or anything of the sort, but there it's more visually appealing than Clerks. But some of the ways the character, especially the way the character of Craig is kind of when he presents like why he's doing what he's doing, that read a little Kevin Smithy to me, because eventually we find out that Craig and Patrick know each other, and this becomes important later because Patrick, after leaving his parents' house and walking back home, is going to run into Sandra, and this is the first time they have met each other.
Yep. Yeah, because she's just kind of, I don't know, tired from.
She's had a hell of a time trying to get home. Yeah. She went to a bus station and got onto a bus, and then we meet this kind of like crazy lady who's forcing her daughter and her to sit on a bus until they die.
Just sit on a bus. Yeah,
talk about getting her ears pierced.
Yeah, and this little girl is like, wants to leave.
She really wants to leave her mom. She's like, this is not how I want to do this, and her mom is just like, no, it's okay. Like, this is it kind of parallels the story with Patrick, where he's just like defying what his parents are actively asking for him to do, which is, I kind of like that. It's one of those like, kind of, you're adults, but your parents don't sometimes necessarily remember that.
Oh god, as a parent to an adult, it's hard.
I would imagine.
Like with the mother, I can kind of see it from her perspective a little bit. I'm like, I kind of would like to, hold on and not let go, Yeah,
so I understand.
Yeah.
So Craig is having sexy time. Sandra is needing to borrow the phone so she can get in contact with Duncan, who is not answering because he's still at work.
That's right.
Like we said, he is the gas man who. At this point, him and his little companion, who we eventually find out more about her later, which they're getting a little day drunk,
or night drunk,
as the situation may be, and at work though, and so he decides to then what he's been doing this whole time is calling every single client of the gas company and checking them off a list. And almost like this completionist sake of like, give my life purpose in the end times. Like,
yeah,
I didn't accomplish anything, but if I'm going to accomplish anything, it's finishing this fucking list. I'm going to call all of these people and tell them all that the gas will stay on until the bitter end.
yeah.
And when he finally finishes the last name is when he's like, okay, my work is done.
Yep.
And I'm going to go home. And he, unfortunately, is not going to live too much longer after this.
No.
But we later find out that maybe that was kind of always the plan. Well, not the plan that ends up happening to him, but that eventually he was going to end this evening dead, before the end times came. That was kind of the intent.
Yes.
So Sandra is borrowing Patrick's phone, and this is where I wrote, like, this entire portion where they're in the same apartment together could have basically been a play, because it's written like a play, where it's just Patrick and her bouncing dialogue back and forth as they discuss, like, Pete Seeger. You didn't know he was a socialist. Right? He's trying to explain, like, she's looking at these objects that his mom gave him, and she's having her own nostalgia and reminiscing about what she's seen and what she remembers about these things. And then he's kind of interjecting that with, like, well, it's not as positive of a memory for me, because you see, my mom was kind of like, she did this, and when she found out Pete Seeger was a socialist, and I think it's really well done. You can see why Sandra Oh won an award for this movie, because she is very, very good here.
I feel like this scene really, it's like, I feel like this was like the reason the movie exists, almost. Like, it feels like that to me. It was very much built outwards from this.
It definitely, I was going to say, it definitely seems like, as a person who's tried to write movies before, it definitely seems like it's that scene that you start with, and then it's like, okay, I have this scene in mind, and then from there, I'm going to kind of build outward and create a movie. Like, I know where the characters are going to end up, and now I know where they're going to start based on this conversation, like how I got here and where here leads to. But that kind of like center point, I feel like, just like you said, you can kind of tell, like, this part of the movie is very, very well done.
Yeah, because like that's kind of what would happen if I was writing. Like, if I had a scene in mind like this, it would be kind of the centerpiece of the movie, and it would be very. I don't know. This one's just very thought out, and it's very well executed, and it's very strong. And I just got that feeling right away. I was like, this is the centerpiece right here. This is definitely where it started.
So
at least idea.
We cut to Craig, and at this point, he is now with his former teacher, who's we find also out as one of his love conquests, one of his things that he wanted to check off his list within these last few months of being alive, which is to have sex with his former teacher.
Which, wow, what an adolescent thing to want to do, or, a holdover from adolescence.
Yeah. And so we cut then to Sandra and Patrick, where they go car heist shopping.
Yeah.
And this is the part of the movie I had seen before. So I don't remember where, I don't remember when, sometime in high school, early college. I don't remember, like, whenever, at some point in my life, I saw, not the entire movie, I saw this scene of them, like, walking down the street and talking about which car to steal, and then her wanting to steal this one, but being like, oh, it's a standard, and then them continuing walking on. Like, did not understand the context of the movie, didn't know what it was about. All I knew from this movie was it was an indie movie. It starred Sandra Oh, and God knows when it came out, because, like, this was, we're saying, I watched this probably, like, sometime in the 2000s, like 2006, 2007, 2008, something like that, right? Early college. But I didn't know the name of the movie. And even if I had, apparently it wouldn't have fucking helped me, because this movie is goddamn impossible to find. Up until 9 years ago, you couldn't find it anywhere. So this was kind of like we talked about last week, one of those, like, moments of synchronicity where it's like, I wasn't planning on finding that movie in watching this one, but it just so happens that it's like, as soon as I got to that scene, I was like, It was kind of like that Spider-Man meme where I'm just like, son of a bitch, I've seen this before. It's that movie. I now know where this came from. Because it was just like, oh yeah, it's that movie now. Now I know what movie it is.
I think we're the last generation that has that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like nowadays, you know what you're watching.
Yeah, in like 2008, I could have like been like, stop, let me pull up Google, but I didn't have a cell phone that had Google back then, probably. And 2008 internet was a very different world than 2025 internet. It's a different world these days.
Yeah, you'd have to stop what you're doing, go to the computer,
Exactly. So they finally find a car to break into.
Yep.
And this is where we learn two things. One, Patrick has no idea how to boost a car. And two, Sandra is pregnant. And
yes,
her and her husband have only been together for just a short period of time.
Yeah, very short
period of time.
But she felt like it was just like that perfect relationship. Like they've been together a lifetime, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And
they've experienced so much in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
She desperately wants to get back home to him. So, yeah, they're trying to steal a car, and that doesn't work.
No, it does not work.
The music in this movie is fucking amazing. Like, at this point, I just had to point that out because it's like every single... Like, as they're walking, we're getting music. As they're doing all kinds of things, we're getting lots and lots of music. And it's all really good stuff.
Yeah.
Some pop hits that you'll recognize, those of you that were alive in the 70s and 80s. But otherwise, just some really good songs in general. There's like a radio station that's kind of featured in the movie. We never any of the radio station, but we do hear him saying, like, we're playing the top 500 according to me.
Yeah.
So he's just like playing 500 songs that he likes.
And then he plays that one song that that one girl is dancing to. I really like that. I don't know which song it was.
Also, to the reviewer going back to the background of the movie, the reviewer that said this movie is too Canadian, the Tragically Hip are not in this at all. How is it too Canadian? If this movie was too Canadian, the Tragically Hip would have shown up at least a couple of times.
At least.
Sloane didn't show up at all. Come on now.
This could have been so much more Canadian.
We could have made this way more Canadian. Where's Munch music, right? Give me Damien Abraham. Anyway, so Sandra is pregnant. Patrick has no idea how to boost a car. And the gas company is, she's getting a little bit more day drunk as she's now by herself.
Oh, yeah.
And this is when Patrick runs into a couple high school friends who basically refuse to give him their car, even though they aren't going to use it anymore because they're going to a concert down the street. Yeah,
it's just down the street. Yeah, because he's like, can we use your car? And he's like, well, it's just down the street. It's just right there. But he decides that his cousin might need the car to run errands for him. It's like, look, diva boy.
Yeah, see, this is where if I was this person, I would have been like, look, you can give me the keys or you can walk away and I'm going to steal it. But either way, like, you clearly don't need this car anymore. Yeah. You're going to be at this concert until you die. Fair to you. I need the car. Like, you fucking think you're a goddamn ancient Egyptian? You're going to take it to the grave with you? Like, what the hell? Right? Not the only person in this movie that refuses to give up a car at the end of the world.
Oh, that's true. I think they have a better reason than...
They do.
Than what Craig has.
Yeah, so eventually this leads to Patrick running into Craig because Craig is an old friend. And this is where Patrick asks Craig, hey, can we borrow your car? Sandra needs a car to be able to get across town. And he explains to him, I have 3 cars, and if I can't have 2 because 2 is not a collection. 2 is just a guy with 2 cars. I love that scene.
That is a great scene.
It's a great scene. Where he's like, 2 cars is just a guy with 2 cars. 3 cars, that's a collection.
That's a collection. And apparently, I guess Patrick gave him that car.
Yeah. He's like gave him his classic car, which also, like, Patrick, I guess you're doing pretty well to have a nice car like that, man. Yeah. Eventually, Sandra gets the car, but this is also after Patrick, we find out, also knows the teacher, and they have maybe like one of the best actual French Canadian conversations I've ever heard. where it's not perfect, but like it's kind of there. Like, as
Yeah.
anyone that I've ever met that's from Canada, which I've known a few people from Canada and listened to some podcasts from Canada, and whenever I've heard them break into French, it's not like it's kind of it's not exactly, but it kind of reminds me of like when my Texas friends would kind of slip into Spanish.
Yep.
Where it was like, okay, that's not perfect, but like I get the point, like, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, yeah, you could definitely tell it's like a language you don't speak every single day. Maybe obviously we're speaking outside of the province of Quebec, you know. Maybe there it's a little bit more every single day, but
right.
I think everywhere else in Canada it's maybe not as strongly
it's not
emphasized.
it's kind of like how
speaking as an American, so I could be very wrong about this.
Well, I think around, if I'm going to give it a comparison, I'd say like how you were saying how Spanish is to the rest of America, because I feel like their French is our Spanish, if that makes sense. Like, I think it's comparable because it's
maybe, but not as many Americans know Spanish. I would say it should be comparable.
It should be comparable
if the American education system was actually doing its job and teaching students Spanish. But I don't know how many students in my 10 years of teaching, 10 plus years of teaching, I don't know how many students have told me I don't know any Spanish. I didn't learn a thing in that class. And it's like,
and
it's
I learned Spanish just in my working life. You know, when I was younger, I had to learn it, you know, because it was either no, or I wouldn't be able to communicate. And
I can accomplish a couple of tasks in Spanish. Una cerveza, por favor.
Hey.
All right, let's get back to this movie about pinche gringos. Okay, so Craig and Patrick decide to start enjoying themselves some brews.
Yeah.
As Sandra decides to take the car and split. And this is where we learn a lot of things about Patrick, especially.
Yes.
Specifically, why he's such a misanthropic dick.
Yeah.
Because earlier in the movie, Sandra, when she was at his house, she infers that he needs to spend time with his kids because he has all this like children artwork all throughout his house, all throughout his apartment. And this, he explains it as like, oh no, you know, they're not, you know, that's not what this is.
It's from a daycare or something.
It's from a daycare, yeah. And she doesn't probe any further. Not that he probably would have given her an answer at this point.
Right.
It doesn't seem like he really wants to talk about this subject because the truth of the matter is that his wife worked at the daycare.
Yes.
And his wife is already dead.
Yeah.
And she died right before the end of the world was announced. And he mentions this later in the movie as he says, remember when people used to get sick?
Yeah.
Like almost like it has ceased to matter anymore because...
Yeah, really?
Yeah, which I get because it's almost like... you know, like you want to grieve in that moment, but then your grief becomes magnified by everyone's grief.
Yeah. As
shortly thereafter, you learn that, your wife is dead, but now everyone is dying.
Yeah.
And so I can kind of see, like, it kind of gives his character some context where you're like, okay, I get why you are the way you are now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. It would be hard not to become this way.
Yeah, it would be hard. I mean, honestly, dude, like me and my wife were watching this movie together, and this is where I told her, and I was like, dude, if you died and I found out the world was ending, I'm probably just gonna fucking kill myself. Like, I don't know what do I got to do?
Like, right? Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, you know,
like, it's a mental struggle for me to be like, what haven't I done that I really wanted to do in life? And at this point, when I'm already like 39, turning 39, 38 or whatever this year, I don't know how fucking old I am anymore. Not 40 yet, knock on wood.
Not
but
quite.
Not quite. It's good. I can see the sun. But so like at this point in my life, I'm like, yeah, there's like just a handful of things that I'm like, I haven't done that. And those things are all like, not even things I necessarily want to do, just things that it'd be nice if, like maybe my ambitions as a human being are just too, are not cavalier enough. But, at this point in my life, if I was told what the information they are told in this movie is, I feel like I would have a hard time not being like, Do I ride it out to the end? Do I try to do the 8 seconds and just go to the end, or do I tap out beforehand? And
Oh,
I can understand the thought process of people tapping out beforehand because I get it, and not that his wife does that, but you can definitely kind of sense that. That's what I thought originally when I first started going through this movie. I was like, whenever because all you know from Craig is that she's dead. I immediately thought was like, did she kill herself beforehand?
Yeah.
And this is like him dealing with her being gone afterwards. But no, that's not what happened. She died of a disease. But either
before
way,
it was even announced.
Before it was even announced. So, but this is still him dealing with like the aftermath of all that grief and all that trauma. And on his way out, this is where Craig decides to share with him his sex portfolio.
And
where he's takes him into this room that he keeps like hiding every time the girls come over to this room.
Yeah,
he hides this room off from them, and this room is where he is taking pictures of them consensually. At least I presume. Yeah. At least all the sexual counters are consensual. It looks like he's paying for most of them. Yeah. And going through kind of a Rolodex of different sexual things that he wanted to try before he died, and things that he's accomplished in the last 3 months. And it's a lot. It is a lot. He has done a lot.
Congrats, dude.
But one thing he hasn't done is he hasn't had gay sex, and so he's decided to ask Patrick.
Yeah, I love the way he said it. He's like, well, apparently you can't read so well, Yes,
he was like, because Patrick tries to leave, and then Craig is like, come back in. I got to talk to you for a second about something.
Like, there was a lot of hints here, and
he's like, you didn't catch on any of the hints I threw out, so let me just lay it flat out to you here. I want to fuck you. You down? And Craig response is that like, I love his response. It was not like no, it was more of like, I don't want to take the risk of the last sex I have being bad sex.
Yeah,
and I was like, I kind of understand
down a woman too. Yeah,
like it would be real hard to feel sexy. Like at the end of the last 6 hours left on Earth, I wouldn't be like, I don't know, maybe it's just my mind, but I wouldn't be immediately like, I want to have all kinds of fucking. It would just kind of be like, I don't know what I want to do. Maybe just cry. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly,
I don't know. I don't know.
Just I don't know. Like what the hell do you do?
We're also coming at this with a completely different lens, right? Like this is 1998 lens, where it's like, here's what you would do with the last few minutes on Earth, whereas 2025, it's like, God, I feel like I've been preparing this for every day of my life since 1998. Where it's like,
because we, I don't know, like growing up, I always heard about the year 2000 coming. Like even back in the 90s, early 90s, a little bit of the like because in school they would talk about the year 2000 coming up.
The computers, it's going to be a computer crisis.
Oh, and that coming up, and I think that would have been a thing around this time when this movie came out. Would have been talking about the Y2K thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And I remember that being a big old thing and going nowhere. With all the people preparing and stuff like that, and I was like, I'm not interested in that,
Yeah, I was also like
a teenager, so
no, I was just going to say, like, adding on to that, kind of, encapsulating the thought I think you were going towards. It's basically like in our lifetime, we've been told the world is going to end so many fucking times.
It's
it's kind of hard to not like.
It's so fucking jaded. I feel so jaded about it. Like it'd be like if someone was accurately telling me it was the end of the world and it was totally, verifiable and everything, I'd just be like, finally,
yeah, exactly. Basically, like it's hard to not have kind of like this, like very like Gen X, like Daria-esque attitude of like, whatever. But it's like, it's basically been like so many parts of our lives.
Yes.
There's a reason this subject appealed to me as a podcast, is because it's been so much of my life for such a long time that it's kind of hard to not talk about.
It is.
So the next part of the movie that I thought was really great is, both Sandra has a hard time getting home, but we also start getting these news reports, which are hysterical, especially the one where the news report says that in Toronto there is a communal taking care of business concert That was fucking hysterical. That goddamn made me laugh. I had to pause the movie, swerve, park the car. That was funny as shit. That was hilarious.
That was awesome.
Because then you cut to like you cut to like a part of like a bunch of people in a park playing, taking care of business on the guitar.
Here we go, watching them learn the chords. Like
that was great. That was great. I don't know who wrote those little interjections, but that was hilarious. A hilarious really little touch. So, oh god. This movie does a really great job kind of building tension as it kind of adds back up. But we cut to this recital that kind of happens a little bit at the end, which the teacher has gone to. Yeah. And this is where she's going to spend the last of her evenings is watching this piano recital, which is very well done.
It is, and it is
adds more great music to the movie. Yeah.
That music is just like, oh god, it like I felt it. I was just like, damn. This is really like hitting me, you know. Like it's
true.
It's adding gravitas, you know. So
we cut back to Patrick, who's at home alone, which is where he did want to be. Yep. And he's kind of just drinking the wine that Sandra left behind, which is we find out later, shitty wine. But I mean, it's all that was left. And Sandra shows back up. Yeah, Sandra shows back up because she has not been able to locate her husband, Duncan.
Yeah, well, because, she's driving along in her automobile, much like Chuck Berry. Sorry, and these people just decide to go all aggro on her, and they're just like, "This is for pedestrians only," and they just start beating on the car, this beautiful car, and she does get saved by Patrick's sister's fiance, boyfriend, whatever he is.
Yeah.
But you know, she's just like, I can take care of myself, and then runs off. And that's when he goes back. Yeah,
we find out what's going on with Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
Which is he hears a commotion outside, and he goes to investigate, and that was not something he should have done.
No, should have get that door shut.
As a young man, killer carrying a shotgun enters the house, and this is where the movie. It's funny that it's David Cronenberg. This is where the movie becomes kind of like a early mid 2000s Cronenberg movie.
Yes,
very history of violence-y here. All of a sudden, Cronenberg is accosted with a shotgun, and we see what happens to Duncan.
And this kid is trying, like, you know, targeting.
He's trying to intimidate him.
Yeah, and his girlfriend, I guess, is just like, and he just keeps saying, "Shut up." Shut up. And I'm like, dude, I get it. You want to kill people, but a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, you kind of get the inference that, like, this guy with his last moments on Earth has decided, I want to know what it feels like to kill someone.
Yeah.
And that's a fucked up thing, but a true thing that you would probably see.
Which is why, like, there'd be a lot of people doing that. And it's, you know,
That's why I would be like, do I tap out now?
Yeah, right.
I don't want to deal with all that shit.
Oh, God, right? Like, all the people that are just like, I really want to kill someone. Like, that's crazy to me. Because in my last moments, you think, no, hell no. Like, there's already going to be enough death. Like, I don't need to add to it at all. It's going to happen without me and my intervention. Let's just, you know, do something else.
So, Duncan is now dead, and this is why he's not answering the phone, as Sandra finds out. And so she goes back to Patrick's place to kind of, I mean, where else does she have to go?
She has nowhere else to go.
She has nowhere else. So she doesn't want to die alone.
Yeah.
So she goes to Patrick's, and they kind of discuss basically a lot of things. They're basically getting to know each other as they give each other life summations.
This is where...
go ahead.
Yeah, because I guess this is where we find out Duncan is her husband, because she's listening to his machine, Patrick's machine, and she hears him telling about the gas company and all that, and she's just freaking out because, you know, that's the last she's hearing of his voice. And but then they decide, I guess, to be each other, you know, just be there. And she wants him to tell her about him, like make her fall in love with him.
Fall in love with you, yeah. Tell me your biggest trauma, your biggest fear, your biggest Tell
that
me your
was
problem in life. Like, make me fall in love with you by showing me how fucked up you are.
yeah. This hit hard.
Yeah, that was very much like a thing where I was like, God, and they have like a very emotional moment as he finally tells her like what happened with his wife,
Yeah,
and she explains like a lot of what happened to them, and intermixed we have different scenes of some of the other characters. Like we see a little bit of what Craig's up to now,
yeah,
as the girl from the gas station is at his house, and we
yeah,
find out that he is who she's been talking to online while she's
yeah.
supposed to be at work, as well as we find out that she's a virgin, and
Yeah.
this is accomplishing one of the last of his check marks, which is to have sex with a virgin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also cut back to Patrick's family as we see his mom and dad are praying.
Yes.
And his grandparents are watching videos of the kids, and this has one of my best parts of the movie.
Yes, I was going to say the exact same thing. Oh,
and where the grandparents are like, "Fuck the kids!
Fuck the
kids don't know how good they have it. Like old people know what it's like to lose things and regrets." And I was very much like,
years invested in this life, and it's like, oh, that hit me so hard. I was like, you damn right, old woman, like for real.
Yeah. I like that these 80-year-olds are like, fuck the kids. Who gives a shit that you're like fucking 12, 13? Yeah, you've barely lived. You haven't experienced enough to complain about ending life. Like, I've lived 80 fucking years. I've seen things. I like that part.
I love that part. That genuinely was like, I think I will sound like that when I'm 80, so...
I feel like I sound like that now as almost 40 sometimes when I talk to high schoolers. I'm just like, there's certain times like we'll read books or we'll read a poem, and immediately I'm like, it hits me in a certain way, and I'll try to explain it to them, and they'll just kind of stare at me, and I'm like an old man, and I'm like, y'all don't get it. Y'all haven't lived enough yet. Like there's some Edna St. Vincent Millay poems that you don't really know how to feel about until you've been like not slept because somebody fucking broke your heart so much that you just literally can't go to sleep.
Okay,
that kind of, until you've experienced that, which comes with age, then those words are never going to resonate with you in the way that she intended. But once you have, then it hits you a different way, and you're like, I can see what you're going for.
Yeah, I've sort of had a moment with that, like that with my daughter, because I like poetry as well, and I was reading off some passages of this poetry book I have, and she was just like, I don't understand, and I was like, I kind of had to break it down, and I explained it, and I was like, huh. So I've had that moment too. I sort of felt like I was teaching poetry almost, and I was like, I am not qualified for this. But
well, the virgin gas lady being at Craig's explains why the gas finally cuts off, because there's no one there to man the station. Fucking Craig. And we cut to everybody celebrating the end. Patrick's sister and her boyfriend are at like a party. It looks like a New Year's Eve celebration.
It looks like a New Year's Eve party, and they're doing the countdown and everything.
They're doing the countdown. And his parents are praying. Craig is having sex. All these different people are doing different things. Meanwhile, Sandra and Patrick are in one of the more visually evocative scenes you'll ever see in a movie. Are on the rooftop, and they are facing each other, and they have guns pointed at each other's temples, and they are counting down until right before, with the plan of shooting one another in the head. And that's going to be how they spend the last seconds they have on Earth.
I think this is where they used, I think a line is said here. I can't remember which one says it, but they were like, I missed the night or something like that. Or missed the nighttime, or it was something like that.
Yeah, because it hasn't been night in forever, apparently.
And I'll be honest with you, it didn't really register to me until they said that, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of felt dumb, because I was like, I've been paying attention to all this other stuff. Didn't catch that.
And all this while, there's like amazing music playing over all these scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to the world ending with a bunch of different people as they get enveloped by this like light that overtakes them.
Yeah.
And then we finally end the movie with Sandra and Patrick, and they
don't shoot.
They don't kill each other. Instead, neither one of them. was going to say, neither one of them decides to pull the trigger. Both kind of simultaneously, they pull their guns down, and they give each other a very long, prolonged kiss, and they die kissing each other,
which is kind of beautiful.
Yeah, it was like that, and that's how the movie ends. So
that is, and it's, oh god, it hit me so hard. This movie, I was a little bit hesitant with it at first because I was like, oh, it's okay. It's a slow starter. But it didn't take long for me to be like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's something else here, something I was overlooking at first. And I think it was in the conversation with his parents that it started to catch on to me. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. Yeah, this movie is very, very good. And I really liked it. It's a very different take on the end of the world. I don't think any other movie comes close to this. Maybe there's one movie that very clearly rips off chunks of this movie, and that's Seeking a Friend for the End of the World.
Which I still haven't seen.
It's okay. It's kind of like this if this didn't have as much like balls behind it.
Oh,
like this movie is very ballsy in a lot of ways. It presents a lot of people kind of being fucked up, horrible people.
Which,
and
good,
especially it's very humanistic and it's very character driven. A lot of this movie is people talking and walking around and talking, or in apartments talking to each other. There's not a lot of like visual set pieces, but the movie is paced and moves in such a way that you don't really ever get distracted or bogged down by any of like, it doesn't feel like some of the worst parts of Clerks, where it's like, okay, we're just like filming our friends jerking off into a convenience store. Like there's no visual element to this. There's like, it's just people standing in front of a camera. That's not this. Like the camera does in fact move quite a bit.
Yeah. It has some mise en scène.
I really loved this movie. This is one of those movies similar to last week with Doom Runners, but completely different topic.
Yeah.
Like Doom Runners was like, oh, if I was a kid, I would have loved that movie, and I can watch it as an adult and appreciate it for being like a really solid kids movie.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that is a great example of a 90s indie movie. For people who love 90s indie movies that haven't seen it, here's another great one to add to that list. And beyond that, for our podcast, I think it's a completely different take on the end of the world than we've seen before.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I really fucking loved it. I thought it was a great movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very.
And I wished I'd have thought of something I would have done, but I can't think of anything. So.
Yeah, right. I like it. So yeah, and that's I guess where we'll wrap up tonight's episode. So. Thank you guys for coming along as we talked about a hidden gem, a movie that is highly buried. And follow the link that I have on YouTube, and you can easily find it. And for those of you listening on Spotify or Apple or Amazon or any number of other places, you should also be able to click the link and follow it. And also, thank you for listening. Like, review, subscribe, all that bullshit. Thank you guys for coming along. Next week, we will go to Japan as we look at the first anime of our podcast.
Let's get in.
That'll be a fun time. Yeah, that'll be a fun time. See you guys then. Bye.
Take it easy.
Hot damn, college boy. Thank you so much for listening. Every single week, we come back with a new movie about the end of the world, or a movie about the beginning of the end of the world, or what happens after the end of the world, or maybe one day we just decide to watch Showgirls. Who knows? Right? But every week we are coming back, and thank you so much for stopping in this week and listening to the whole episode and hearing our thoughts on whatever train wreck of a movie I chose to force my friend to watch this week. I'm a good person like that. And thank you for also being a good person. There you go. If you want to be a really, really fucking cool person, which you obviously are, why don't you give us a like, and actually, more importantly, give us a subscribe. I find that to be more important. I don't know if the algorithm says it is. I don't really give a shit. But thank you for your patronage either way, and clicking all the things and doing all the stuff. Bye. Thanks.